Studio Fox News analyst Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. Well, I wish he had done it sooner. I wish he had, in your face, to you and your pals who hate him, and really taken it to him, Doctor.
Well, he didn't have the political courage to do that. What he did.
Why? Why do you think?
Well, because he understood there was an election at stake, and every time the Bush administration says something ridiculous, like what happened at this press conference, the polls were going down for McCain, and so he was waiting till after the election. That's one thing. But the other thing here is that he's defending the indefensible. He doesn't have any real answers or solutions to these problems, and so he waits until the last day and he rails on everybody. This
All right,
is
but I didn't hear him say anything ridiculous in a press conference. I mean, what was ridiculous about saying, hey, do you remember 9/11? Do you remember all the second guessing that we weren't prepared for this attack? What was ridiculous?
No, that's not what's ridiculous. The man said that America hasn't lost its moral standing in the world, and he goes to other countries and is ducking shoes. I mean, clearly Americans...
Ducking shoes from fanatics, though.
No, not from fanatics. I mean, if you go around...
That guy's not a fanatic who threw the shoe at him?
Not that guy in particular, but it's a signpost... No, but it's a signpost of a sentiment in Iraq and in other countries. I've traveled to Africa this summer, and in many countries, people were saying how much America has lost its moral authority.
Well, then they're ignorant because we've helped...
That's ridiculous.
That man, President Bush, has helped Africans more than any other man who's ever lived. Who's ever lived. Let me get an opposing point of view from Mr. Elder. What do you say, Larry?
Well, Bill, the defining decision, of course, by this Bush administration is the decision to go to war in Iraq. And the president is absolutely right, and I'm with you. I wish that he had shown more emotion and defended himself more vigorously a long time ago. But remember what the country was like after 9/11. The British and the American planes were being shot at. We know that Saddam Hussein at one time had chemical weapons because he used them on his own people. He was paying $25,000 to families of homicide bombers. The polls showed that Americans believed 80 to 90% of them that were going to be hit again within 6 months to a year. He took action. Had he done otherwise, and God forbid Saddam Hussein had acquired a chemical weapon or a biological weapon and used them on Chicago, we'd be having hearings about why he didn't take action.
Well, he would have been
impeached. The president did what he thought was in,
all right, but
he thought was in the good.
Well, I'll get back in a minute. Okay, but Larry, look. The reason I didn't get an exit interview with President Bush, and we asked, and I have a good relationship with him, is that he knew I was going to ask one key question, Larry. One. And that is, why didn't you guys see this terrible recession when it was coming? Why didn't you see that? He didn't answer that today, did he?
And the reason he didn't answer it is because it is a long, complicated answer, and primarily the reason that nobody saw it, or very few people saw it,
but he's the president.
Because of government interference. Pardon me?
He's the president. He's the guy that's got to protect the folks, and the folks got hammered. And you're right, it's complicated and long, but that really sunk him more than Iraq and more than the war on terror. Okay.
I mean,
I think he did.
Dr. Hill jump in.
I'm baffled. I mean, the President of the United States isn't allowed to give essay answers. You're going to give short. I mean, you can only ask short answer questions at a press conference.
Well, that was the weakest thing in the economy. But go ahead.
No, but there's the economy. There's Katrina. I mean, there's a whole list of issues that the president's administration failed on, and he tried to address them in this press conference, but couldn't provide any thorough or nuanced answer because there isn't an answer to the indefensible. That's the problem here.
Well, Bill, what he said, Bill, was I inherited a recession and I left with a recession. And what he was saying is presidents have some control, but not all control over the economy. He didn't blame President Clinton for the recession, and I don't think it's fair to blame President Bush for this recession. There were all sorts of factors, not least of which is government interference.
Blaming doesn't get us anywhere. Barack Obama won the election because we are in a recession, so there's your blame. But what I don't know as an American citizen, Larry, and what I'm concerned about, because my job is to protect the folks, that's all, is that why didn't Bush and his guys see it coming? What is it about our system that you can have the Treasury Secretary, the SEC Chairman, the President and Vice President of the United States not know we're headed for Armageddon economically? That's what's got to be fixed.
Because we have highs and we have lows in our economy, and nobody.
But this was man-made.
This was about
nobody could.
No, Larry. This is about corporate greed. This is about lack of oversight. This is about the Bush. This is about the Bush administration. By your logic, Larry, then you're saying that it's unpredictable and unforeseeable that an economic crisis is going to happen, and by that logic, we're just rolling the dice. That is ridiculous. The reality here is that the Bush administration failed, and today you saw its frustration.
All right. Now I got to go. But that was. You guys are great together, by the way. You ought to go out on vacation or something.
Government.